Konnichiwa minasan. Just wanted to do a quick video about converting your foreign driver's license to a Japanese one. I haven't really seen any videos from the other J vloggers about it yet. Maybe it's not really like required to drive in Japan. It's almost more of a hassle in some places, definitely like Tokyo and stuff like that. It's always easier to take public transportation or ride bikes or something like that. But if you are gonna transfer your foreign driver's license to a Japanese one, then I can kind of give you some steps on or at least tell you the process of what I'm going through. So I'm from the U.S., so the company we have there is AAA. So what you do is go to AAA to get your international driving permit or driver's license or whatever, and that allows you to drive like in any other countries you go to for a year from the date you get it. You don't have to be a AAA member. I'm not. It's like, in America, it's kind of like more privileged people type shit. AAA. So, yeah, you just go through them and you take a passport size photo. I think it's like 15 to 30 bucks and stuff like that. And you don't have to take a test or anything. They just give it to you. You take your driver's license in there and they, see that your driver's license is good, and yeah, they pretty much issue it to you, and from the date that you're gonna go, they make it for the day I believe that you're supposed to get to wherever you're going, and it's good for a year after that, like to a bunch of different countries. So that's one of the easiest ways to do it, so you can drive in the country that you're going to for like a little while before you actually go take the test or whatever. So definitely like helps out to have it. Next thing you do when you get to Japan, after you've driven here for a while and you're kind of ready to go through the process of converting your driver's license, you're going to go to the JAF office, like JAF, and what they're going to do, they're like the AAA of Japan or whatever. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to convert, or they're going to translate your foreign driver's license. They're going to translate it for you, so when you take it to the Japanese driver's license place, the DMV, then they can kind of read and see your info and everything. And when you go to the Japanese DMV place, if you don't speak Japanese, you should take someone with you to translate, because you're definitely going to need that. Depending on where you're from, I don't know if it depends on where you're from or not. I noticed I got in and out of the window where they kind of checked documents in like 5 minutes, whereas like the guy who was like in the front of the line from like Thailand or whatever, like they were like checking his documents like hardcore, like examining his documents, and then the guy after him, I think he's like from like Brazil or something like that, he was like at the window for like an hour and they were like checking shit, and he had to go like back and forth between different places like for like an hour, so everyone was kind of like waiting on this guy. But definitely make sure you have like legit documents on forge your shit. The people who work at the windows there are the Keisatsu cops. So yeah, if everything checks out, all your documents are good, they're gonna test you. Make sure give you a vision test and make sure you're not colorblind or whatever. Then after that, then you do the written test, which is if you're converting your foreign license to a Japanese one, it'll only be 10 questions, true or false. If you got to do the full test for some reason, you're not converting, it's going to be like your first license or something like that, or you're just getting a Japanese one without having a license from somewhere else, and it's like a long test, like a long process thing. So, the 10 questions they had were like fairly easy, definitely look at the road signs and stuff like that, because things will mean what you don't think they'll mean or whatever. Like some of the pictures are kind of weird, so if you don't read Japanese, like you wouldn't understand what like 2 or 3 of the road signs say. Like they say something on it, but I can't read. I don't read, so I couldn't understand what they were saying, but just kind of know what they look like, so definitely helped out. Another thing you may encounter is you have to have your driver's license for 3 months in the country that you come from before you come to Japan. Like you can't my bag got stolen before I came here, so I had to fly back out to California. They make you, California makes you do that. You can't get a new one issued to you online. So fly out to California to get a new one or whatever, and then got here and then realized since I hadn't been there for 3 months since they reissued me my driver's license. And they kind of check your visa or your passport date with the date on your driver's license to kind of verify, check the dates and stuff to make sure you've been there for 3 months after you got it before you obtain your Japanese whenever. So, what they allow you to do is get a printout of your driving history from wherever you're from. So, I mean, it was a little bit of a process, but I was able to do that and get the documents I needed. So, I got to take the test, pass the written test. I'm from the U.S., so they make us take the driving test also. If you're from places like Europe and stuff like that, Europe and a few other places, they have like some kind of treaty with Japan where they don't have to take the driving test, so they kind of get off easy. Driving test is like difficult here, I'd say. You don't take it the same day that you take the written test. After you pass the written test, and you come back a different day to take the driving test, because they'll give you like a map. They'll give you like two maps of like two different courses to study. And like in Japan, you have to have the course memorized. It's not like the guy doesn't tell you when in America you're driving, the instructor's like, okay, turn left here, turn left. They don't do that here. Like you have to have the course memorized, and on the day they'll say, okay, you're gonna do A course, you're gonna do B course. So definitely like look at that and memorize it or whatever. Cause that's like one thing. And then you go there like early in the morning, 8:45, or if you have the first set, and I think it's like 11 something if you like the second set of people, and you get there like a little bit early, like right at that time, and then they'll give you time to walk around the course real quick with the map, so you kind of know where you're going. Just a little last look over study, so they'll let you walk the course, wherever you're supposed to go to or whatever. So that kind of helped out a little bit. Then they'll bring you back, and then you kind of sit and wait for your turn to take the test. Like they'll have everyone, like a group of like 10. There was like a group of 10 of us today. So and they'll call us up one by one, and like we wait for each person to do the test. And then everyone goes and meets upstairs. I think at like it was like 11:40. Everyone goes to meet upstairs after you take the test. It's kind of nerve-wracking, because people kind of sit there and I was the last one today, so I sat there and like watched as every person took the test, and like I kind of saw what some people messed up, but they kind of have like parts of the course that kind of blocked off, so you can't see certain stuff. You just see people, if they come back kind of quickly or whatever, and come back like a different way, then they like came straight back where they failed. So it's a little bit like nerve-wracking, and I'm definitely like a good driver. Like when I took my driver's license to get the first time in the U.S., like the instructor was like, this is the first time like the person's never made any mistakes or whatever. So I've never really had any accidents and stuff either. So definitely like pretty good driver. I've been driving in Japan for a while now, so it was finally time to convert my foreign driver's license to a Japanese one. But yeah, it's still like nerve-wracking and stuff like that. Get in the car, buckle up your seatbelt and everything, start the car. And Japan, in the front seats it's required to wear seatbelts, but not in the back seat. But anytime I'm in the back seat, I'm always like wearing my seatbelt anyways. But you start the course and everything, and the big problem that I had, today I didn't pass the test, like which is kind of like difficult for me, because I'm like, what? Like, I'm pretty confident and shit like that. Like, I know like my driving ability, and I like drive all the time. So yeah, but I didn't pass because it's like there's certain things that you should know going in that I didn't really know. Like, people told me before, like, stop before the line, which is like in America when you come to a stop sign, red light, you always stop before the line, of course. But you have to stop. In Japan, you have to stop where you can still see the line in your car. Like, you can't be up on the line. Like, you have to be like, it's probably like a good like 10 feet back from the line. Like, literally like 10 feet back from the line, so you can see like the whole line. Which, on the course is like, it makes sense because there's nothing around you, and like it's, clear view and everything. But like, realistically driving is like, it's not like a realistic thing to do. Like, you wouldn't stop like 10 feet away from the line, because you wouldn't be able to see like what's coming, from the other directions and stuff like that. Like, there's gonna be a building or something obstructing your vision anywhere you drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're that far away from the line. So I mean, like, I definitely like know, like, driving around every day is like, being that far back from the line. Like, I tried it, and it's just like, there's no way you'll be able to see without like coming blindly into something. So that's where I had my problem with today, and I failed the test because of it. So, definitely that's the one thing you do. Make sure that's like an automatic fail. So the one thing you do, like, make sure you stay back from that line like 10 feet, where you can still see the line like perfectly from inside the car, the stop line or whatever. So that was like one big thing. And then another thing I didn't know is, like, when you turn, you want to stay, if you're going to turn like left or right, you want to stay very close to the line. Like, you're making a left turn, your car is already on, like, in the left lane, of course, but you want to go to the very left side of that left lane. You wouldn't make it from the center of your left lane or whatever, which is kind of weird. They're like, oh, you got to hug the corner so people behind you or around you kind of know which way you're going, which is, I mean, it's kind of redundant. That's kind of like what the blinker's for. They should like look at the blinker and see where I'm going to, but not what kind of side the car's like leaning into or whatever. So that was like another thing. It wasn't like a big thing, but he would, it's one thing that the instructor like tells you after the fact, like, oh, if you're making these turns, like, make sure you're to that side of the lane. Make sure you're all the way to the left side of the left-hand lane, which is like, so other people will know what you're doing, other people around you know what you're doing. But it's like, you have the blinker on, so they should kind of know. And another thing is, like, when you stop, like, like, you stop and you like look, like, you have to like stop, like, take like a minute break, stop, like, you might as well check yourself in the mirror, because it's like, that's how long you like literally have to stop for. Like, I stopped and I looked, 2 times in each direction, but they want you to like really like make it over dramatic, what I'm saying, like you're faking sex, basically. Like, everything has to be like over exaggerated when you take this test, like really emphasize shit. But yeah, so after that, I mean, the kind of bad thing about that is, like, if you fail, it's like, it's kind of pretty embarrassing, because it's like, everyone, whether you pass or fail, has to go upstairs at the same time, and the people that pass, they call them over first, like, hey, people that pass, and they'll kind of call them over to a room to get their shit. And then it's like, okay, the people that failed, everyone come in, and they call your name out, like, out loud, like, fuck, man, I just failed, don't say that shit out loud. Don't acknowledge me now. But yeah, so that kind of sucks, and definitely, like, you go there and you take the test like early in the morning, like 8 something, 9, and then like you have to wait till like 11 something. You have to sit around there till like 11 something and go up there with everyone who took the test and do that. So it's it's like a lot of time consuming, instead of just like one by one as you finish, like, okay, you pass, like they tell you a time to go upstairs and stuff like that after you're done, for everyone to meet upstairs. So that kind of sucks. But so I'm gonna have to take the test again. Another thing is, when you take the written test, they don't tell you, they'll give you your score, and as long as you got above 70%, you pass, but they don't tell you what questions you missed. They, afterwards they'll give you your thing, but they don't give you like a printout of the questions, or and they definitely don't tell you like what question you missed. So it's kind of like, that kind of sucks, because it's like, you're telling me I wasn't perfect, but you won't help me improve on, like, I only missed one question, but it's just like, I don't know what question it was, so, definitely, like, I'm not going to go back and look at it. I already passed that test, so, that's out of the question. But, that should be something that they should do, but they don't. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. Definitely, you're cool if you come from Europe, so if you don't have to take these tests, only the written test, which is like fucking easy. But yeah, if you come from the U.S. like me, you gotta take the driving test, and I don't think any like foreigners pass that test today. Like, there's this dude who's been in there like a few times, and this motherfucker like still failing. So I'm just like, I think I'll get it probably the second time, but hopefully, but yeah, definitely. If not, then keep trying again. But then they try to tell you to, if you don't do so good, like me, I didn't stop. So either like they probably don't know the rules of Japan and like driving, and they want you to like, oh, maybe you should go driving with the instructor for like an hour or two, like pay to go driving with the instructor, which is like, um, like, it's gonna cost like extra money, and even if I drive with this instructor, like he's gonna be like yelling stuff. I don't really speak that great of Japanese. Like I understand like a lot, but not a lot. So this dude's gonna be telling me stuff, and I'm gonna have like no idea what he's saying. Um, so yeah, definitely when people give me pointers, I'm just kind of like, okay, And when the dude told me afterwards, like, but I missed out on like had someone translate it for me, I was like, okay. I mean, I guess, like I said, some of it doesn't really make sense, but it's just like, it's what you have to do at the DMV. Like, your normal everyday driving in Japan will not be consistent of you stopping 10 feet away from the line, you know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous amounts of space away from the line. You won't take, a 2-minute pause at the stop sign to dramatically look both ways, Yeah, so, just some things to keep in mind when you come here to you want to convert your driver's license from, whatever country into a Japanese one. So, if you guys have any questions, yeah, just leave a comment or whatever. I'll try to answer them, and hopefully this video will help a lot of people out who are coming and, want to look at, going that option or whatever. Yeah, so that's about it. Golden State Warriors again. I think we're going to take the championship this year. Other than that, yeah, I'm out. Other than that,